Good morning, everyone. If we have not yet met, my name is Shauna Johnson, and I work as the Executive Director of Strategic Communications at West Virginia University. West Virginia University are R1 public land grant research institution, and we're so happy to have this time to be with you today. Strategic Communications, to break it down, works at the university level in 4 key areas: internal faculty communications, internal staff communications, crisis communications, which includes emergencies, and media relations, which is really most relevant to what we're doing here today. I know a lot of you reporters sitting up here in the front, great to see you all happy and well-fed and well-rested before the session starts. If you're not receiving, if I don't know you or you're not receiving our news releases, let us know. Our external media operation includes WVU Today. That's the main news hub for the entire WVU system. All major announcements go out through that platform. And yesterday, we were happy to announce President Benson's hiring of our new provost, Beverly Wendland, who comes to us from the University of Washington in St. Louis. She'll get started on July 1. So the provost is a cell biologist. The president, Michael Benson, is a historian. So there are a lot of explanations of things I don't quite understand, but I nod along as they tell me about what they do for a living, what they're really passionate about. We do want to introduce in the back Dan Kimball. Dan, if you could stand up and wave to the crowd. During the session, Dan will be a good contact for you. He is our Director of State Relations and Senior Advisor with the university's government relations. He works with Travis Mollahan closely. They'll be here for the State of the State Wednesday with President Benson. So he is our person on the ground. Our students who are here today, Ty, Lily, and Samantha, they report for WVU News. WVU News, if you don't know, is the student-produced television newscast that is available statewide and also in Pittsburgh on KDKA. So these 3 students are examples of the experiential learning opportunities all of our students get at West Virginia University. I would like to thank the West Virginia Press Association for the time. It was not too long ago when I was sitting in these seats as a reporter. It'll be 5 years ago this year. And I'm asked repeatedly, why do I work for West Virginia University? I work for West Virginia University because of people like Brad Price, your presenter for this segment. Brad is department chair and associate professor for Management Information Systems and Supply Chain Management with the WVU John Chambers College of Business and Economics. He's also co-director of Biostatistics, Epidemiology, and Research Design for the West Virginia Clinical and Translational Science Institute. Put simply, he is working on the ground every day with students, with community leaders, and with business owners to make West Virginia better. His research focuses on developing and applying novel machine learning and AI tools to improve business operations in healthcare, especially rural healthcare, to build on the discussion from earlier today. He is interested in creating algorithms, technologies, and software that can be deployed and used by organizations. So as an introduction, Brad, after all of that, what does that mean for a person who's not a researcher?
I'm a tech geek and math nerd. I mean, that's really what it comes down to. I'm a hillbilly from Oklahoma in Boone County who gets to come back and work in West Virginia every day in my dream job. And it's an honor and a privilege to do that, to get to do that every day. And I get to do it on the ground in West Virginia in a place where I think you can do more good in a day than you can any place else in the country. WVU is an extremely special place to me. I'm a 2-time grad from WVU who, again, tech geek math nerd, right? I've got a math degree from there, I've got a stats degree from there, and I get to use it every day at the R1 flagship university. And it is a big deal to do that. That is an extremely special thing in a university like this, in a state like this. So it's a really cool thing. It's a really special place.
You know, I've heard you talk over and over again. You say the work you're doing, we're not talking, we're doing. So what does that look like? Can you give us some concrete examples?
So when you think about a traditional university, you think about the ivory tower mindset, right? It's what we get branded as university professors, right? I mean, you're fully expecting me to walk in here with a tweed jacket on, elbow patches, everything like that, right? We want to be on the ground doing everything we possibly can. We want to take our students and we want to activate them against the land grant mission. It gets beat into our head every day at the university. what it means to be a land-grant institution, which means we work for the people of West Virginia. We work with the people of West Virginia. That means business owners, that means the state, that means the legislature, that means, I said business owners already, but it comes back to, we are the business school of West Virginia, right? We get to work with industry, we get to work with public health officials, we get to work with the hospitals, we get to do everything we can on the ground. I don't care about the publications because the most important research I do happens before we ever write about it. If we're doing our jobs appropriately, everything that matters happens before we're able ever to talk about it. So we're doing things that matter. It matters to the state, it matters to the people, and we're able to include our students in that.
So give us an example. Let's take West Banco. Could you talk about what that partnership looks like?
Yeah, so we were able to found an outreach center called Data Driven West Virginia with West Banco and their partnership going on 6 or 7 years ago now, and that's not a dad joke, right? Everybody in here who has kids, it's heard those two numbers together, right? And I know the students are laughing about it. That was for you guys. But it's one of those things where, you know, what we have is a relationship with West Banco where we've really helped them develop their data science, analytics, and AI capability, right? And what we do is we have a direct partnership, and we call it talent and innovation pipelines, where we're able to work with businesses and we're able to work with executives to really talk about what they need from an industry perspective. What talent do you need? What technologies do you need? And how can we, as the flagship university in West Virginia, help you develop that, not just this year, but in years to come, and help you keep growing your business here in West Virginia.
What about in Cova? Talk about that a little bit.
So we've got some really cool things we do. I work for probably, and everybody will say this about their boss, I work for one of the most innovative deans in the country. His name's Josh Hall. He doesn't get enough credit, so I'll make sure I give him this shout out here. Josh had this innovative idea, I guess it'll be 2 years ago now, where instead of trying to take our students out every week, right? West Virginia is a rural state. We don't have those huge metropolitan areas like you would get in LA or New York or Chicago. So what we do is we invite businesses into Reynolds Hall. And if you haven't been to Reynolds Hall, I invite you up tomorrow, the next day. Whenever you can come visit us, come see Reynolds Hall. It is the nicest educational facility in the state of West Virginia. We love it. We're able to do things we've never been able to do before because of it. Students love it, they enjoy it. It is an amazing facility. But we invite businesses in, and they hold what they call externships, which means we let them take over classrooms for the entire day and run tabletop exercises with our students and put them in positions that they would be in their business, so they get to experience the culture of the organization. So they really get these hands-on experiences. And that's almost every Friday that these businesses are willing to come in. So we do this daily. These are just Tuesdays. This is normal operating procedure for us now. This is what our students get to experience every day. And this is what we're trying to do, I mean, as often as we possibly can. We've done it with Encova, we've done it with West Banco, we've done it with WVU Medicine, as you heard earlier, the state's biggest employer, but also healthcare is the biggest business in the state. We want to make sure our students are trained and ready to go. We want to be workforce ready at all times.
You're going to have to explain this. You assist in everything from technology selection to algorithm development to how to structure organizations in the time of AI and how to find value in AI.
So,
I need you to get closer to the microphone.
This is where, college professor, I'm used to screaming. So this is one of those things, again, I told you I'm a techie math nerd, right? What we do is we help these businesses. Every business wants to use AI right now, right? I mean, we're gonna take it over and treat it like a classroom for a second. Just by show of hands, how many people are in here using AI of some sort right now? How many people feel ready to use AI? A lot fewer hands, right? So what we do is we go in and we help businesses, we help students, we help anybody who wants get trained on AI. We help them understand what's going on with it. We help them develop the technologies they need for their organization. We're not hands off with these things. We want to help businesses grow and stay in West Virginia. That's what we do. We think that's part of our mandate as a land-grant institution. So it's not just, oh great, we're going up, we're turning our back on a whiteboard and teaching like every other university or everybody thinks we should. We're really getting hands-on with these students. We're getting really hands-on with these organizations to help them grow and want to grow here. So when we do it, you can think of it as almost full service. It's a little bit different approach to education, but we've been doing it this way for about 10 years. This isn't a new development over the last year. We've been doing it this way for a little while.
So you're working actively. It's not a closed-off classroom. Reynolds Hall's open. You're reaching out to businesses, working to understand what jobs are open at the moment, and then what skills are needed to fill those jobs.
Yeah, so I tell people the business school is the front door to a university, right? It allows me to keep one foot in industry, and it allows me to keep one foot in academia. So I'm able to do the research that an academic loves to do, right? It's the reason I have a PhD. But I also get to keep one foot in industry. I get to talk to industry leaders. I get to talk to businesses. I get to work with state partners. We get to see what jobs are open. We get to talk to them about their hiring pipelines. One of the things I love to do is work with small businesses in the state to help them figure out how to recruit talent, how to keep that talent in the state. When do they need to start talking to students? When do they need to create that brand awareness to start recruiting that students? A lot of people think from a college perspective, you recruit students the spring of their senior year, right? You would think that's when the career fair starts. Turns out you need to start talking to students their junior year in the fall. You need to start saying, what are you doing this summer for your internship? People from Leadership West Virginia came up and met with us in August, and one of the things they got to see was when they walked into the building, I had 6 students coming back off an internship to help us run a little training for them, and all 6 students walked back in with job offers for this coming May. They walked back in with their job offers in hand, already signed, ready to go. So if businesses aren't proactive in their recruiting pipelines, they're going to miss out on some of the best talent the state has to offer, and we won't be able to keep them here.
Can you give us an example? You work directly with students every day. A student who came in maybe didn't understand the opportunities that were available or even their own potential, and have had the kind of success that was something they couldn't even have dreamed of.
So we run a lot of different programs. In my department alone, we touch about 500 students every year through minors, through master's programs, and we're really focused on what I call workforce development programs, right? We want students who come in, we're gonna meet them where they're at, from mathematical requirements, from any type of requirements they come in, and we're gonna develop them to their full potential, right? I told you I'm a tech geek math nerd, so we really meet them where they're at and we help grow them to where they need to be. About my 3rd year here, I've been here 10 years. I left the University of Miami to come home. Country Roads is a song for a reason, right? We can get into that entire story if y'all want to hear it or something. But come home, my 2nd, 3rd year here, met a student. He was working, turning a road sign. He had a bachelor's degree, was underemployed, came into our master's program. By the time he graduated, he was working as a machine learning engineer for a Department of Defense contractor and has just moved on and is now a senior machine learning engineer, stayed in state the entire time, is making 6 figures, and has really grown himself. And that's just one of the stories. We've got another student from Charleston, came through our undergraduate program, is now working as a healthcare researcher for WVU medicine, right? I've got a million of these stories. We place about 90% of our students every year within 2 to 3 months of graduation. If our metric is 6 months of graduation, we're up above 95, 96%. It should be 100%, but I can't force everybody to go look for a job, right? Those are the type of things, I can't force 18 to 22-year-olds to do everything I want them to do. If y'all can figure that out for me, I'd appreciate it. Would really love it, but I can't do everything for them.
I do want to take a moment and just reference the legislative packet that's in the back of the room. This is a good reference for you for West Virginia University for the upcoming session. You'll find a lot of good information in there, including a county-by-county breakdown of the university's impact locally on the ground, and also explanations of some of our differentiators, the programs that set the university apart, that have been developed to meet the workforce needs of today and to meet the demands of our students. One of those is a new major that just launched in fall 2025, which is Applied AI and Data Analytics. And Brad was really huge in getting that off the ground. So what Applied AI and Data Analytics, what does that mean and why is it needed?
So Applied AI and Data Analytics is really in response to what we've been hearing from industry for a few years now about we don't just need people who are PhDs in AI. We need people who have bachelor's degrees in this stuff who can go tell us if these models and these methods are actually creating value for organizations.
So we don't need people like me. We need people like my students to go monitor these methods and these models in there. We need database administrators who know how to spin up ChatGPT or Copilot and understand if that is actually producing value. Because the next big question, and this is something I'll say, the science fair is over with a little bit. What we need to know are these things actually creating value for businesses, because they cost money when businesses put them in production. So if they're not creating value, businesses need to understand what that technology investment is and if it's actually worth it for them. And so this is something when we're training our students, we're talking to them about what is the return on investment of this technology? How is it helping that business, and how do you communicate that? Because what we do is what we teach in these programs is we teach critical thinking and communication skills for people who are very technical in their skill sets. Think about computer programming, think about mathematical modeling, but they need to be able to communicate the business value. The thing that is really different about this program from all other programs, I think, is we require these students to work with businesses. There are 2 consulting classes built into this program. So what they have to do, we partner them with 2 businesses. We hope they're from the state of West Virginia. They have been to this point, where they will work with these businesses, and these businesses will hopefully be able to hire them. So they do it once their junior year, they'll do it again in their senior year, and they'll continue to go through that. The other thing that's different, we don't want to create robots in this program. So there is a required double major or a minor, and we have that built in. So students can go get a minor or a double major in cybersecurity or finance or geographic information systems. So they can go work in the banking industry. They can go work in the government contracting. They can go work in oil and gas or the energy sector in West Virginia to continue to support the economic development that's happening on the ground here. So we're really growing all parts of the economy in the state.
If you also have questions, you want to raise your hand, we'll get the microphone to you. And if not, I'll just keep talking to Brad all day, or until they cut our time out. We have one right here, Maddie, I think.
You hear a lot of legislators say that they want to keep, young professional retention is one of the biggest things.
Maddie, I know who you are, but could you introduce yourself to Brad?
Oh yeah, I am Maddie with 13 News. Maddie Spread, 13 News political correspondent. So in the legislature, they're going to be talking about young professional retention. For someone who works with, I guess you're at like ground zero of this issue, you're talking exactly with them. If it's not jobs or maybe, actually let's say if it's not besides jobs, what's something that, of the kids that don't stay in state, what is like the biggest factor of them leaving?
So 2 years ago, we worked with the Department of Commerce, and we work with the state pretty often as they'll let us, with as many projects from broadband infrastructure to those type of things. We do consulting on that. And one of the things we did with former Secretary of Commerce was we started asking that question. And the number one and only response was jobs. And it came up, and I know you're gonna say, I said besides jobs, right? But the number one was, tell me what job is available to me, tell me what opportunities are there for me, and then show me where I would be moving, and then show me what is there for me, right? So it comes with brand awareness around the organizations, right? And that's part of the reason we want to work with these small businesses to get the brands in front of the kids so they can develop a relationship with that company and go see where they would be. So the company can then put on the full court press with them. So they can then say, here's where we want you, here's where you can be. It's part of I don't know if you've heard of the Kindred program, WVU, but the Kindred program, what it does is it takes kids and it puts them through the business ethics and prosperity minor. And as part of that minor, they take them to the state, they show them different cities in the state. And what they'll do is they'll show them Charleston, they'll show them Thompson-Davis, they'll show them the Eastern Panhandle, they'll show them Huntington, and they'll show them all these opportunities that exist within the state. They'll let them meet business leaders, and they'll show them what is here for them. And say, if you choose West Virginia, here's this other thing. Now there's also a financial incentive if they stay 2 years, which is a nice benefit for a 22-year-old. And all these kids love it right now. We just graduated, it's one of our first 2 cohorts, so they're really excited about that. So it's a full court press in that area, but yeah.
So you say they take them to the area, so part of it is maybe the charm of it would be, oh, this is where you'll be living?
Yes.
Is there something that they look for, or something that maybe if they went there, they're like, oh, I don't want to live there or anything?
Every kid's different. Every kid is, and that's where remote work opportunities come in. It's looking for the culture of the company as well. These kids, what we're finding in these kids right now, it's about the impact of the organization too and the role they're going to have. I mean, every kid is different,
but it's really playing matchmaking, which is what we do with a lot of the kids. It's playing matchmaking with the jobs and the opportunities for them to try and keep them here. And you know, we have a cool program we also run. It's we started it last year at the business school. It's the West Virginia Internship Coordinator, where we build internships with small businesses so they can compete with the large consulting organizations that come to recruit our kids, to try and get them to stay here, to make sure small businesses in West Virginia have that opportunity that large businesses and large firms do as well.
Thank you.
How many girls get your first two buildings?
The Kindred program, I don't run that program directly, but I know we can fill up a ballroom.
The answer was, we can fill up a ballroom with them.
Sorry.
The question was, how many in the first two cohorts? Did you have a question? Could you introduce yourself to Brad, unless you guys have already met in Boone County?
Oh, we have. How you doing? Matt Young, Charleston Gazette. I'm curious. You had said that you're hearing from industry, about their needs for future workforce and whatnot, and you referenced AI. I know you guys have a pretty successful journalism program. You have some students here. I'm personally curious what you're hearing from the journalism industry in regards to what our industry's future needs are.
So I don't work directly with that group, so I won't speak for what they're hearing. What we're hearing from a workforce perspective is expose kids to AI in everything, but it's not at the level of, ChatGPT's taking over everything, right, and those type of things. The way I instruct, and I won't speak for every instructor, and I won't speak for every program, I believe in foundational teaching. I believe we're still going to teach foundational coding. I believe we still need to teach communication skills. I believe we still need to teach critical thinking skills, and those are core to every program everywhere. So again, that's kind of where I stand on that, and that's where that's how I'm teaching my 10 and my 7-year-old too. Is we're still going to teach from the ground up, because those are things that are going to scale long term, no matter how technology changes.
Since you're working with both students and businesses that are looking to hire, do you ever reach out to businesses that are like, I don't want to hire a 22-year-old?
Yeah, we hear that all the time, and then we let them meet our 22-year-olds, and they change their mind. I will tell you right now, anybody who isn't bullish on this generation, come spend some time with our kids. Come spend some time with the kids we have working in the data-driven lab, the Cyber Resilience Resource Center, 304 Marketing, which is our marketing consulting center. These kids work as hard as anybody. I like to tell people, we take a blue collar mentality into a white collar world. These kids like to work. They like to show up. They like to be a part of things. Our entire thing, people can talk about program rankings. We want to be the most outward facing programs in the country. We want people who want to work with us and give these kids opportunities to show what they can do.
And they like having opportunities to get their hands in the middle of it all. I mean, you're not just sitting listening, you're actually doing it, no matter the field. I mean, we have undergraduate researchers in labs in their first year.
We've had students get full-time job offers as freshmen because of the type of work ethic they show. And these are West Virginia kids, right? These are kids coming out of Buchanan and Ravenswood and Richwood and Morgantown and Grafton and Madison. And this is how we grow. But we've got 21,000 students on the Morgantown campus, right? These are kids who have chosen West Virginia. We want to give them opportunities. Every class we try and teach, we're trying to build a resume line. It's something that they can go out and be competitive in. A lot of things happen between 18 and 22 on our college campus. But one of the things that we're held accountable for, especially in the business school, because it's part of our accreditation, is outcomes. The outcome for us is income. You need a job placement. So that's what we think about, and that's something we hold ourselves accountable for.
Thank you.
What can lawmakers do to support your work?
Believe in us. That's one of the things I'll say. Trust in what we're doing. From our perspective, the business school at Chambers, especially, and I'll speak for it just because that's what I'm associated with the most, is we've grown every year. Our placement number has grown 10 straight years, right? We're almost, I'll say almost because I think we're exactly at
80% placement across every one of our programs. We're over 3,000 students. We brought in one of our largest freshman class ever. You want to talk about a market-driven solution, that's the market talking from both sides, right? So we're continuing to grow. That tells me people are believing in higher education, especially in what we're delivering, right? The other thing is we generate value. If you start looking at the numbers, right, for every dollar invested, I think there's a $9 return in WVU from WVU right now. I think if you start looking at WVU, and this is the thing, Shauna mentioned I wear the other hat at West Virginia Clinical and Translational Science Institute, which is a whole mouthful in itself. CTSI is a statewide organization, and you all met Dreama earlier. I know Dreama from Boone County, but I also know Dreama because we partner with the Osteopathic School and a couple other institutions around the state, CAMC, Marshall, both VAs, where we do research. CTSI is a NIH-funded research center where the only goal is to try and make healthcare better in the state of West Virginia. That is the only goal. It is a really, really fun organization to be a part of. We're PI'd by Dr. Sally Hodder, who is the only National Academy of Medicine member in the state of West Virginia. I tell people when I grow up, I want to be just like Sally. She is brilliant. She's awesome. I want to give her the shout out right now. But it's also one of these things where we take that group and we go activate against problems. But what that is, what CTSI turns into, and what WVU turns into, is the research arm of WVU medicine. And so when you activate against that mission and you start looking at what is the economic impact, I think it's close to what, $14 billion?
WVU and WVU medicine.
Yeah. So I think you start looking at what the return on investment and what the economic value of the organization is. That's really, really high. And I mean, I'm a numbers guy. Those are some pretty substantial numbers.
And when you say we're trying to find a solution to a problem, what's an example of a problem you would be looking at with WVU, with this organization?
With CTSI?
Yeah, like what if somebody comes to you and says, "Can you help us with this?"
So looking at all kinds of different things right now. Some of the things we've looked at before is how do you connect small rural hospitals from a technology side, right? How do you connect small rural hospitals so we can get information back and forth faster for central locations, right? Because one of the things we talk about is a small rural health system by themselves is just looking at a small patient group, right? If we can connect them across the state quicker so we can get information back and forth faster and in real time, they can communicate even better. We can see what's happening in patient populations while we're still protecting patient privacy at all levels, but we can say, hey, this is a trend we're seeing, and here's how doctors will prescribe. That's something that can be really, really critical, and that's something we really move towards. We did that through some NIH funding. We did that with support from a bunch of different providers, and it's really, really important that we're able to develop that technology for rural places. And we led that in West Virginia. We led that across what's called the IDEA states, which are underfunded states from the NIH, and we've been able to really push that forward.
So the point here is to give you some concrete examples of the work being done to build what we're calling a golden blueprint for West Virginia's workforce. We do extend an invitation if you want to come to West Virginia University, Morgantown, if you want to meet with Brad, if you want to go into Reynolds Hall, if you want to meet with anyone with any of our programs to see the work we're doing, let us know. Also, there's a lot of good information in the legislative packet. If you have any follow-up questions, we'll be around all day. Brad has only begun to talk about the many, many projects that he is involved in. So make sure to chat with him. And we thank you all for your time and attention. We hope you have a wonderful session. If we can help, let us know. Let's go.